Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see in the picture today, let's start the story off where Issei broke up with his harem and decided to leave. Issei Hyoudou, a boy that has gone through a lot, chose to fight Trihexa as his final battle due to the girls breaking up with him due to his perversion. The leaders, also feeling bad for him, decided to agree on his retirement from the supernatural as their pillar. They even were ready to finance his well-deserved vacation, and he would be living a normal life. They will always care for Issei. However, as fate had planned it, Issei's life was not done. It had something else planned for him, something else. But before we start, please consider subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Don't forget to check the description for more information. Now let's get into part 1. The quote from Helen Keller. When one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us. Issei looked at the beast of apocalypse Trihexa, roaring onto the Red Dragon Emperor. He knew all this started by one light spear aimed at his fucking abdomen. The next thing he knows, he is thrusted upon so many battles that he has lost count. Trihexa was described to have the appearance of a large beast with characteristics coming from different animals like a lion, a leopard, a bear, a dragon, etc. It has 7 necks, 7 heads, with 10 horns, as well as 7 long thick tails of different shapes. It also has 4 stout arms and 2 legs that are even thicker than its arms. Its main body is that of a primate leaning forward and is covered in black fur and what appears to be scales all over its body. Its size is well over several 100 meters, making it significantly larger than even Great Red. Issei gave a depressed sigh as he spoke. Yep. Story of my life just this once, one final time. Issei started the chant. He gave a glance towards Office, who nodded in response, giving a sad smile. She knew what happened to Issei before he had faced the beast and dealt with Apophis personally. Let's do it, Office. Issei spoke with a small interest. This was his one final battle, and no matter what happens, he will give it his all. After that, no more fighting for the supernatural. The crimson red dragon dwelling within me, awaken from your dominance, Asiel started the chant. The crimson heavenly dragon I possess within me, rise up to become a king, and then Roar Draig also made his chant as Issei continued. The jet black god of infinity Office continued this chant as Issei added. The glorious god of dreams, watch over the forbidden existence we shall become that transcends the boundaries. Thou shalt dance within our radiant inferno. Iabelo's dragon god. Let's go. Issei flew into the fight, knowing full well he may not going to survive this fight, but it mattered not. He would survive for another day one way or another. He knew that he must live for his parents, friends and his older sister. While facing off against the beast, he was reminded of his past, and how things had come to this. Scene change. Flashback begins. Issei was walking to the Orc Club room. Rise of him had already been killed courtesy of Fafnir, and with him defeated the Cow's brigade had fallen apart. They could finally settle down while Lysiel planned to finish his high school studies, settle in a good college, and marry his current harem, which comprised of the following: Rias, Aquino, Kaneko, Kuroka, Roswaz, Ravel, Asia, Zenobia and Irina. He soon entered where he was greeted by all the members of the Occult Research Club. However, what surprised him the most was some members were absent. Hey girls, you wish to talk? Issei noticed Hyoudou, Kunu, Tosca, Lefei and Gasper missing as well. They must be working with something. Issei couldn't help but have a bad feeling about what was going to happen. He could see the seriousness in their eyes and knew something was up. Tell me, is it about the clip of? Are they making a comeback? I thought we had already dealt with any and all threats related to the clip of. Issei spoke with a tone of surprise as Roswaz responded. That is not it, Hyoudou. Roswaz spoke with a cold tone as she responded. We need to talk about your latest antics, especially of your perversion. It is getting out of hand. What do you mean? I have not peaked at all since the time I was in a relationship with Rios and eventually the rest of you as well. Issei nodded. He was also aware of the fact that Sona was genuinely surprised, and seeing as to she was absent meant something was wrong, even Jinchiro and the rest of the student council. They even praised Issei for actively making the change and knew that he was doing it for Rias and her sake. Yes, we know, but you still read those perverted magazines in public and even sometimes play those games. Rias spoke coldly as Issei flinched. He had a feeling that things will only get worse from here on out. That is why we have all come with a collective conclusion. Akino spoke, as she continued, we have all decided to break up with you. Issei was left heartbroken, unable to believe what he had just heard. He knew that their relationship was going smoothly. But in reality, it was the polar opposite, as Issei spoke with a shaky tone. Please tell me, this is a joke. Issei spoke with a shaky tone, as Zinnovi responded. I am afraid not, and to think I wanted children of a pervert like you disgust me. Irina spoke in agreement, as she responded. Zenobia is right, I can't believe my childhood friend has become a lowly pervert. Irina's words only worsened Issei's state, as he couldn't believe what she was saying. News flash perv, nobody here likes or cares for you. The other girls spoke in agreement as Issei spoke with a shaky tone. I see. Issei spoke with a worried tone as Rosways responded. The girls are correct, I was only your boyfriend to convince grandmother. I wouldn't mind if it was not for your perversion. Roswa spoke coldly as Asia continued. Sand, you're too much, your perversion is too much for me. Asia exclaimed as Ravel spoke sadly. I am sorry, I can't do this anymore, your perversion is too much, even for me. Ravel exclaimed sadly. Issei could see from the tone that they weren't as spiteful as compared to the others, but regardless, they should almost be used to it. Sorry, Naya, but this nature of yours is too much for me as well. Kuroka spoke with her usual demeanor, as he also noticed her being supportive of her sister. Issei couldn't help but clench her fists because of how hypocritical some of the women present here are, especially those that slept with him literally naked. So that is how it is. After everything I did for you, this is how I am repaid. Issei spoke coldly, almost wanting to tear these girls a new one as he spoke. I should have never helped any of you if this is how I am going to be repaid. Rias looked at him and angrily, and shouted, Why you? Oh, shut up! Issei shouted in anger in his tone. Not a lot of people know this, but Issei rarely snaps. But when he does, it always ends in disaster, as he exclaimed looking at the girls, who were still stunned at his ferocity. Some were angry, while others were starting to get afraid. All of you listen up. I want to make this clear. I helped you all with your issues, marriage issues for a certain redhead, daddy issues for this hybrid, the mess in their lives of the two Nekasha sisters that I had a hand in fixing, the nun who I literally gave a fucking home and spent my life protecting, the Valkyrie. It would have been used as someone's object to satisfy his own siskin tendencies, the slut from the church who wanted to make babies with me, along with a so-called angel. That was my sorry excuse of a childhood friend, and finally the fried chicken. I got nothing to say for you. Issei's words were filled with spite, as he continued, but I am done helping any of you. You can go help yourselves from now on. Issei walked out of the room with anger in his eyes, as Rias tried to stop him only for Issei to slam the door. The girls were stunned by how cold and vindictive Issei can get. Some were angry, while others were fearful. Those that were grief-stricken were devastated by this. Rias then spoke loud enough for Issei to hear. If he was not the Red Dragon Emperor, I would have never revived him. Rias' words was the last straw that broke the camel's back. As he clenched his fists in anger, he had to control himself. Otherwise he would go Juggernaut Drive. However, someone else also heard him and decided to talk to Sergiches about this. Flashback ends. Issei avoided a fire breath courtesy of Trihexa. As he started to create the Infinity Blaster move, he boosted multiple times. Infinite Blaster. The boosted gear announced as 4 cannons were created that shoot out a powerful blast of red and black aura at the Beast of Apocalypse, as it roared in pain. The plan was relatively simple. The Beast of Apocalypse will be sealed away using a very powerful seal which was successfully mimicked and brought into existence by Rosways' notes on the beast. This was why the Cows Brigade wanted her alive. Ijuka and Azazel researched on them more, and thus a powerful yet temporary seal was developed along with Issei's help, who was surprisingly good with magic, so much so that even Azazel was surprised. Take some more. Infinite Blaster. Issei charged another blaster at the Trihexa. He could feel the strain on his body, but he did not relent. Office knew his body won't survive for much longer, and decided to take him in case he falls apart. However, Trihexa decided to act and split up since it would cause even more problems and destruction, while regenerating at the same time. Issei grew frustrated knowing that it will keep persisting, causing even more damage. He had to act quickly. Partner, use my flames right now. It is the only way we can prevent it from regenerating to activate the seal. Issei understood this and decided to generate Drake's flames, flames known to even burn down the souls of its victims. They were blazing inferno of scorching flames. He could only hope that it was enough as more and more of his past flooded his mind. However, this time, it was the good memories. Scene change. Flashback begins. Issei walked into the office of Circe's Lucifer. Initially, he did not want to involve her older brother into the fight, but Azazel insisted on bringing him here. He had already informed him about this. He entered into the room where he could see the faction leaders, along with some of the guests who were relatives of the girls present. Almost all of them were present, however they all had saddened looks, as Circe spoke sadly. Issei, we have all called you here to apologize for what my sister and her peerage did to you. Circe spoke with a solemn tone, as many soon followed suit. I wish to apologize as well, Issei, for my daughter Akino's behavior. The one who spoke was Barakriel, Akino's father. Their other relatives also started apologizing as Issei shook his head and spoke. None of you need to apologize for what they have done. Same goes for you people as well. Issei spoke with a sad smile, gesturing towards Gondel, Griselda Corda, Sierra Phoenix, Riser Phoenix, Sayard Bale and several others, as he then spoke in a serious tone. But don't expect me to help any of them ever again. Sergiches nodded as he spoke. I was expecting that, but I don't think it is enough and I don't mind fulfilling any request. Any request? Issei spoke with a confused tone as Sergiches nodded as he spoke. I wish to quit being the pillar of the Alliance and live a normal life. The leaders became wide-eyed. They never knew he wanted to quit so badly, as Issei spoke with a sigh. I figured this was the reaction, and I can understand if you don't wish to do it. Issei spoke sadly, as he continued, they kept speaking such horrible things about me after I did so much for them. I just want to be away from the supernatural world. I am done. I am just done with everything. Issei exclaimed as tears fell from his eyes. As Grafia hugged him, calming him down, she knew how much damage Riaz and the girls have done to him. They heard things that they said about him courtesy of Azazel telling them. Speaking of Azazel, he was beyond livid when he heard what the girls did. He spoke and talked to Issei about it, and seeing his broken state, he wanted to tear the girls a new one. However, Issei stopped him, saying that it would be pointless, and it mattered not, as he decided to at least tell Sergiches and convinced Issei to let her brother know about this. The others were angered as well with how Issei was treated, with Yusaku and Ilmenhald being the angriest. Some like Kuna were devastated. Even those of the Gremory peerage and Qua Academy like Hyoudou, Gasper, Tosca, Lefei were angered by how Issei was treated. Same emotions were present in the student council, with Shinshiro and Sona being the angriest. There. It's okay. Let it out, Issei. Issei cried on to Grafia as none of them stopped her. She and another treated Issei like their younger sibling, as moments later, Issei stopped crying and apologized to Grafia for ruining her clothing, but the strongest queen assured him that it was not an issue. Very well, Issei, if that is what you want. I don't mind not removing you the pillar of the factions. But if you were to ever consider returning, we would be more than happy to accept you. Issei nodded in understanding, as he spoke sadly. Thank you, Naya-san. Issei's voided tone horrified many, with several being angry at what Issei had gone through. Azazel then spoke with a slightly convincing tone. How about this, kiddo? You can take you and your family to a long vacation to ensure that your emotions become better. Even your older sister can join, and it will be well financed by us. Sound good? Issei only looked at Azazel and only gave a nod. As he soon walked outside, the leaders knew that Issei was still affected and decided to give him time. Some, like his true friends, decided to look after him till he heals and heads for his vacation to recover his emotions and become better. Hyoudou and Gasper wanted themselves to be removed from Ria's peerage and transferred to a different peerage, as Sona happily accepted them into their peerage. She also hated Rias for what she and her peerage had done, and decided to break off her friendship with her. Flashback ends. Issei looked at the beast. It was burning and trying to regenerate at the same time. He noticed it trying to split into other parts. However, Issei shouted, knowing what it is going to do next. Marry me. The woman who Issei called was Issei's older sister. She was a beautiful brown-haired woman with long hair and brown eyes. She wore a purple sweater and white dress, along with purple shoes. Leave it to your big sister, Issei, Marie exclaimed as she summons gauntlets with special openings that allow his mobile terminals to be fitted. The left gauntlet fits a blue terminal that has the powers and abilities of Innovate Clear, though a simple version. In the right gauntlet, he inserts a jet black terminal that has the powers and abilities of Telos Karma. Balance Breaker. Mary activated her very own Balance Breaker, which was a combination of both her sacred gears. It was called Transcendental Arrival. It was a futuristic-looking endoskeleton which was comprised of jet black and blue metal armor. It started to glow as Mary spoke with a cold tone. It's no use. In this armor, Mary can make an ideal world, albeit for a short period of time, with which she was able to prevent Trihexa from splitting itself. However, it was too straining even for her. Office knew this and had to act quickly. She immediately activated the seal that everyone had been working on months for, to stop the beast. Mary fell to the ground. Trihexa was too strong even for someone like her, as the seal was taking effect. The armor that Mary was on soon broke away as she was on the ground, exhausted as she watched Issei hold off the beast, with it screaming trying to escape the seal. It refused to be resealed once again. However, just as the seal was working, Issei's armor also started to break due to overusing it, and he was completely exhausted and passed out. It was due to overusing the Diablo's dragon armor. In its last-ditch effort, Trihexa used its attack to destroy Issei. Fies tried to save him, but it was too late. The attack completely consumed Issei, and there was no trace of him left. He tried to escape but was unable to do so. Mary had a look of horror as she started to have tears in her eyes as she muttered, "No. This can't be Issei." Mary passed out due to her shock. She had lost her brother. As Office also looked horrified, as she looked down, tears falling from her eyes. They had lost Issei completely. He gave his own life to save them. Scene change. In an unknown location, 9:30 a.m., Issei was teleported to a different world by someone. He soon fell tumbling down towards the ground as a woman saw him. She wore a tightly fitted military clothing. Her outfit was black in color with 2 pockets and belts, which had 4 pouches. She wore tight pants and shoes. She approached Issei in worry, seeing his critical condition, which included his torn clothing, broken bones and bleeding body. She immediately became horrified as she contacted someone using her device and shouted, "At Mia Medical, ASAP. There is a critically wounded here, I need help." The woman shouted, looking at Issei's condition. He was groaning in pain. She wondered who could do this thing to him. Issei was in the hospital with several machines attached to it. He was being treated by several medics. This has been going on for days, if not weeks, 3 weeks to be precise. He was brought in by the brown-haired woman, who immediately saved him by bringing him to the hospital. She walked towards the recovering Issei, who has become better due to the technology of her homeworld. The woman could only hope that he would wake up soon enough, as he soon opened his eyes and spoke weakly, "Where am I?" "You are in the Arcadian hospital. You were found badly injured. I was the one who brought you here." Issei looked at the woman, who seemed to have a gentle smile on her face as Issei tried to wake up, but the woman spoke while keeping her hand on him and spoke with worry. No, please, your wounds haven't healed and it has not recovered." The woman spoke with worry as she helped him without hesitation. She sat down and holds Issei as she assisted him back on the bed. Issei sensed her signature to be draconic, that is for sure, which meant she was a dragon. "You're a dragon. Who even are you, to be precise? And where exactly am I?" The woman spoke with a sigh. She knew that Issei was a dragon as well, due to his magic signature. And I will explain." The woman spoke with a smile. As she continued, she could sense no malice in Issei, and was surprised by how pure his soul is. The woman spoke to Drake on a daily basis, asking upon his condition, and she knew about his name, Although the Welsh dragon did not disclose any private details, she asked him to keep her identity a secret till she introduces it herself. She spoke with a smile. My name is Juniper Arc, the Princess of Arcadia. It is nice to meet you, Issei Hyoudou, the Red Dragon Emperor. Issei looked at her for a moment as she spoke. I guess thanks for saving me. It was the least I could do, and yes, I was talking to Drake, that was how I came to know of your name. Looked at his boosted gear as Drake spoke. Indeed, she was the one that brought you safely and looked after you for days. If it wasn't for her, I doubt you would be alive. Drake explained to his partner as Essie nodded in understanding, to which Juniper spoke. And as for where exactly you are in Arcadia, or more precisely Remnant. Essie became wide-eyed as he asked, that means this is not Earth. So that is where you are from? Juniper asked, to which Issei nodded, as Juniper spoke sadly, no, Earth is far away from Remnant, and we don't even know which Earth are you from. Great. My luck just got even more shittier than before. Issei exclaimed, annoyed, to which Juniper looked at him for a moment as he soon spoke. Sorry about that. These few weeks has been really shitty for me. No. I understand. And the way you were found, I don't blame you, Juniper responded as she soon got up. You should rest, and if you need me, just call me, I will be nearby. Here is my number. Juniper used magic to summon a piece of paper and writes down her number as she speaks. Take care, Issei. Juniper walked outside the room, leaving Issei to ponder what is his life going to be. He was stuck in an unknown world with nowhere to go and live. He wondered what his life is going to be, when all of a sudden, something came in front of him. It was a screen, or a digital screen, that was in front of him. He could not believe what he was seeing. It said the words, "Welcome, player." This made Issei get up as the screen followed him. Opening start. The screen shows the system as it starts to load the stats. It changes to a man, surrounded by multiple enemies. It shows Issei preparing for battle, where it soon follows with the others. Juniper, a white-haired woman, and a purple-haired woman along with her family are looking at the scene. The scene changes to a smiling white-haired man and a blue-haired woman. The scene changes to a tomb where a white-haired man is giving a side glare, as a skeleton man is walking towards him. Soon 3 beings show up with sinister smiles. The Arc family, Arc siblings, and the Arcadian army is shown. The scene changes to Issei facing off against a black-haired woman with a lavender-haired woman in chains. A television screen is shown where Issei is facing against Rias, the latter having hate-filled eyes in her. Juniper is seen fighting off against Akino as the former has a smile, while the latter has a glare. The rest of the Arcadian arcs along with Yuto, Genshiro, Gasper and Mary all assist them. Mary has a water serpent surrounding her. The scene changes to the skeleton god making an alliance with the white-haired man and their subordinates, all working together. The swords is shown which is wielded by Issei. The scene changes to Issei and his allies all looking at the sunset as he turns around and gives a smile at the camera. Opening ends. Issei asked Drake as he spoke, am I seeing things or is this real? No. Even I am seeing this too. What even is this? Issei wondered just how much his life is going to change is something he was truly unaware of. Issei contemplated on what he must do now. He decided to click on the system screen. How that is interesting. Issei mused as suddenly the screen changed to something else. Running startup sequence. Loading stats done. Loading levels done. Loading skills done. Loading information about user done. Does user desire to stop time? I guess Issei muttered. As time suddenly stopped, he looked around to see time had completely stopped as he could touch the place, and it barely affected him at all. Greg, can you hear me? Drake responded with a nod. Yep, it seems like you have unlocked a leveling system, partner, you might want to check your stats. But how? Drake responded with a sigh. Look at the bottom part of the screen, there is a button which shows that. I see, well, let's go. Name? Idol? Former pillar of the factions, Red Dragon Emperor, perverted beast, enemy of all women. Level, 445. Experience points, EXPR, 20,044,500. Brace, Dragon God. Health points, HP, 25,050,000. Mana, 35%. Fatigue, 200. Strength, STR, 23,440. Vitality, Vit, 25,678. Agility, Agili, 26,789. Intelligence, INT, 23,000. Senses, SESS, 30,134. Luck, LCK, 22,000 yen, 75,000. Abilities, Dragon God Physiology, immense strength, speed and stamina as opposed to regular normal humans, and some other races can even keep up with gods and other beings on the same level. Additionally, user can transform into a dragonid form, dragon form, and can grow his own draconic wings. Although most of it is still untapped, the user can become immensely strong as time passes by. Draconic magic. The user has access to magic belonging to dragons, which he can use at to his will and can mostly excel in magic that originated from the dragons. The user has excellent prowess in fire and wind magic. Breast break. The user's most powerful move against women. As its name suggests, this move allows him to strip women by first coming into contact with them, concentrating his demonic power, then snapping his fingers to activate one of two effects, which is either clothes or the effects of demonic power, plumwool. This move allows him to talk with women's breasts to women's breasts after creating a space. As such, it is a useful move as it allows him to learn his opponent's plans by asking their breasts. Flame blaze. The user learned to breath flames using boosted gear. First, he inhales, filling his lungs with air and produce a small flame in his stomach, then uses boost and transfer to enhance it, then breathes massive flames from his mouth. Expert hand-to-hand combatant. The user has expert martial arts training, able to even keep up with the strongest of the martial artists. This was due to the user's training in hand-to-hand combat. However, the user is still vulnerable to feints and redirections, but due to Issei's physiology, he can handle that. Decent sword fighter. The user has decent sword fighting skills, capable of sensing and fighting against sword users and even keeping up with them. He is capable of holding on and even potentially blocking attacks from them, albeit he struggles against the stronger ones. Skilled tactician. The user has base-level knowledge on how to counter and play tactfully instead of charging into fights like most brawlers are meant to do, often using their weaknesses and abilities against them to win fights. Abilities. Boosted gear. Boost. This ability allows the user to double their powers every 10 seconds without limit until the user reaches their limit, whether it's their physical abilities, magic, or demonic power based on the user. Transfer. The user can transfer increased power to other people or objects. Dragon shot. The user fires a beam of energy of concentrated demonic powers. This move is generally used in tandem with the boosted gear to increase its destructive powers. Divide. Since the user recklessly had taken a part of the vanishing dragon, the user can use special skill Divide, which can cut down the power of a target by half, although this too is dependent on the user. Dividing gear. A boosted gear variation of the divine dividing, and what allows the user to use the skill Divide. However, this can siphon the user's lifespan. Balanced Reaker Welsh Dragon. This move allows the user to be cloaked in a strong draconic armor, which increases their stats by a lot, even more than it usually should have been. It also allows the user to have added strength, stamina, speed, and durability to the powers he already has. Diablo's Dragon Disabled. 23 HRS Remain. An upgraded form caused from releasing Officer's power, possible because his new body was created through Great Rad's flesh. This changing his scale mail into crimson and black with 2 pairs of dragon wings and on all his gems. However, the user can only sustain it for a short amount of time before it wears off due to strain. Dividing Wyvern Fairy. The user creates small dragons from the gems of his armor, which replacing dividing gear. However, unlike the original, it does not reduce the target's lifespan. Interesting. Issei used looking at his stats wondering what else he can do. He remembered on how he asked Tajuka to remove his evil pieces, which did take some weeks, but they were able to remove it. Now, he was a full-blooded dragon. Partner, I think we should release ourselves from the time stop. Issei nodded in agreement. As time reverted back, he then pondered on how to close the system. No sooner than he thought that, the screen changed to the instruction that Issei needed, as it read. To do that, I will have to say, close system, and to reopen the system, I will have to say, open system. To see status, I will have to say, check status. And to see other status, I will have to say, check stats. Issei read out the instructions as he then commanded, close system. The system soon went off as he soon lied down. He was stuck on this planet, and he did not know what to do next. He was in an unfamiliar alien world and he knows nothing about it. He could only hope he found a way in this place. Greg, do you think we will be alright? Drake responded with a sigh. I am not sure, but I know that you will be fine. Issei looks at the phone as he speaks. Should I call her? Ask her more about this place. Maybe, but you should rest for now. Issei nodded as he soon rested. He pondered on finding a place in this new home till they find a way back home. He had the system, and he did not know what is capable of, but he would find out a way for now. He soon lied on the bed, and before he knew it, sleep cradled into his arms. A few hours later, Issei soon woke up as he started to eat his food in the Arcadian hospital. It was surprisingly decent, not the bland food that he was expecting. He soon was met by Juniper, who spoke. How are you feeling? Better actually, I think I can walk. Juniper smiled in response as she spoke. That's great to hear. Speaking of which, you are the princess, right? So do I need to call you by your appropriate title or something? Juniper shook her head and spoke. Not here, only when you are in the Arcadian court, when you will be needing to talk to my father, the current emperor of Arcadia. I see. So when I was found out, how was my condition? Issei asked, to which Juniper shuddered, remembering on how bad his wounds were. She then spoke. Your clothing was torn, with your body being even darker than it usually was. It was almost as if you were burned alive, not to mention, your bones were broken in the ribs, chest, abdominal area, and even your limbs. You were bleeding from every location, especially in your head and limbs. The doctors even stated that you wouldn't even survive this, but you were persistent, and you eventually recovered. Juniper spoke with a smile, as he responded. Alright, so is there a way I can head back? My parents, sister, and others must be really concerned about me. Would you help me head back? Issei asked, to which Juniper only smiled in response. Of course, why wouldn't I? Thanks. Issei responded with a smile, as he spoke with a sad tone. You really are doing something so much for someone whom you have barely met. Is there anything you expect in return? Sorry if I am a bit skeptical. My experiences have taught me that no one does anything for free. None, Issei, none. You needn't worry about that. I will help you in any way you can to get back home. I have no intention of forcing you to stay here, but if you can't return, you can always have a place here. Juniper spoke with a solemn smile as Issei looked at her and nodded in response. Thanks again. No need. No. Thank me, Issei. It is what I do now. Can you walk? Issei spoke while averting his gaze. I haven't tried. I will work it out. Issei spoke as he kept the plate on the table and started to walk. He staggered for a bit as Juniper assisted him. Easy. Issei looked at her and nodded. He soon managed to walk at a normal pace. He was still in his hospital clothing, however, as Juniper suggested he should get a change of clothing. He decided to go with her to a nearby apparel shop where he decided to wear a casual red t-shirt and black jeans. He also wore red shoes. The reason Juniper did this was so that he looks presentable when he meets the Emperor. She then takes him across the main city of Arcadia as Issei looks around, marveling what kind of a place Arcadia was. It seemed like a marvelous futuristic city, as Juniper spoke. So what do you think of Arcadia? Issei, it is amazing. What kind of a place is this? Juniper spoke with a smile. Years of hard work, dedication, and technological advancements were the reason we got this far. I see. Juniper then spoke with a smile. Let me give you a brief rundown on the location of Arcadia. Issei. Arcadia is a large empire comprised of many different continents, 15 to be exact, whose lands reach up to 50 billion kilometers at best compared to the Four Kingdoms, which is around 100,000 kilometers at best. Each continent is governed by different nations, with the main nation, the Arcadians, taking most of the land around 8 continents. The main 8 continents are governed by the arcs, They essentially rule and guide the nation in its duties with numerous other royal families, assuring them those families also have a high power that is equal to the Ark's. Juniper spoke while keeping her hands behind her back as she turned around and spoke with a smile. And soon, I will be the one to take up my father's place, Issei, as the new Empress of Arcadia. I see, so once you are of age, I guess I will be calling you Empress, or Your Majesty. Juniper responded with a smile. You are right on that one. Anyways, we have other places as well, just so you know: Grimm, Faunus, Undead, Dragon, Fairy, Elves, Dwarves, Middle-earth, or their own selected nation, and govern numerous lands. I take it you know most of them? Issei nodded as he spoke. Except for the Grimm and Faunus, I am not aware. Juniper then spoke in response. So basically the Grimm Kingdom are sentient beings of darkness that roam the world. And before you ask, no, they are not trying to kill or harm us, alright? Issei nodded as Juniper continued. Then Fraudus are beings that have animal traits like a rabbit's ears or even a dog's tail, for instance. They look like humans with the specific animal trait. Juniper explained as Essie nodded. She eventually reaches the place where the mansion was as she spoke. We are here, Essie. Issei looked round to see a mansion made out of sleek marble and other materials with banners of the Arc clan being put around the castle. This mansion, Issei spoke with awe as Juniper spoke. Welcome to the Arc Mansion, Issei. Juniper ended with a smile as she spoke. Well, follow me. You can marvel at its splendor at a later date, Issei. Issei nodded as he soon walked. Sure, as he spoke. Say, Juniper, mind I ask you something? Sure, why not? Issei looked at her and asked, so this Arcadia, how did it come to be? Like you said that it took a lot of work so far, right? So how did it come to existence? It was because of my ancestors doing Issei. It took us a lot of work. I won't go into much detail since we don't have much time, so to put it shortly, the 4 daughters of the Osman Salem were the founders of this place. They killed the god of the light and the god of the darkness to establish the kingdom that you see today. I wish to honor my ancestors. That is why I wish to maintain Arcadia's legacy and become a just and capable empress. Juniper spoke with a smile while keeping her hand on her chest as she gave a gentle smile. Issei did not know why, but in his eyes, he saw something that nobody will ever see. He could see the gaze of a true empress, but it was not cold, it was gentle, warm and kind. He never saw this next to Rias or any of his former harem. He did not know what to say as he spoke whatever words he could. I guess you will become a good empress, Juniper. Juniper gave a smile as she spoke. Issei, let's go, my father is waiting for you. Yes, Issei spoke with a gentle tone as he soon encountered some of the Arcadian royal guards. The guards wore a blue and white medieval tunic with a sword holstered around their hip. Additionally, there was a cape around them, and they wore a gold paladin helmet on their head. The cape was supported by a yellow star, and they wore golden boots. They saluted Jean upon her entrance, and were intrigued by the new guests in the castle. Greetings, princess, and the guards seemed to be confused as to see who Issei is, to which Juniper explained to them, he was the injured guest, he has no record of any person in Arcadia, we just want to meet the emperor. Very well, as you wish, princess. The guards head inside to inform the emperor, as Issei asks, so was there anyone else that had met me or Drake before? Well, there was an old friend of mine, you can meet her once we are done, okay? Issei looked at her and nodded as the guards soon came outside and spoke. The emperor is ready and wishes to see you. Very well. Juniper turns to Issei and speaks, come in, and you needn't worry about my father, he is a good person, so just be the way you were with me, okay? Right. Issei responded as the duo head inside, as they soon see a giant office room, which enamored Issei. A stairway leading up to a window overlooking the entire mansion, along with a couch and some seats. Then there's the multiple rows of bookshelves filled to the brim with books regarding Arcadia's history, magic, races, and all sorts of stuff. This office is essentially a treasure trove full of items from all across Arcadia. Father, I have brought him. Juniper spoke with a cheerful tone. Since the emperor was her father right now, she can be a little bit more informal as he spoke with a smile. Ah, Juniper, please bring him here. Issei, meet my father Liam. Issei looked at the man as he was described to be a pale blonde-haired man with white dragon horns and white scales. He also had light gray eyes. He also wore a white shirt and a brown coat with brown pants and brown shoes. His arms had dragon scales on them as well. So you must be that my daughter spoke about. Spoke with a bow. Why yes, my name is. It is a pleasure to meet you, Emperor. Please, Issei, call me Liam in private. What Juniper talked about you and how well he talked about you showed that you are a good person. Courtesy of Drake, of course. Issei nodded as he pondered on what is to come as he spoke. I would be honored, Liam. So Issei, I hope you don't mind telling us how you landed up here. Issei nodded as he spoke. Yes. So what happened was during a battle in my home where I was facing a very strong adversary. I managed to take the threat down, but in its last-ditch effort, it tried to kill me as well such that I don't become a problem. The attack hit me and the next thing I saw when I woke up was me being in Arcadia with your daughter looking after me in the hospital. Liam nodded in understanding as he spoke. I see. So that was why you were in the hospital for 3 weeks and you were so badly injured. Yes, Liam. That is what happened. Issei spoke while rubbing his head as he still could feel the after effects of using Diablo's Dragon God. He had overused it, and still was feeling the effects even now. He knew that it was disabled for 23 hours as Liam spoke. So Issei, what is that you wish to do? Issei only shook his head and spoke. I just wish to return home, Liam, that is all. To my own earth, my home, that is what I want. Liam nodded in understanding as he spoke. I see. So you wish to return to Earth, right? Issei nodded as Liam spoke. That is going to be quite epical, Issei. How so? Juniper then explained to him. It is because there are multiple Earth essays. So first we need to scan every single Earth for the magic that is emanating from your body to identify the precise Earth. This will take time to do so, since we have go through every single one of them and to make sure if magic or your magic type exists or matches, then we have to make sure that if it matches that said magic type, and that may end up taking a lot of time, years even, at worst. Vaizey paled at the thought of not seeing his family for that amount of time. They must presume that he is dead, if not long gone, as he looked down, tearing up at the thought of this. Liam and Juniper felt sad for him. They couldn't even imagine the fact that he won't see his loved ones for a very long time. However, they needed to give him hope. Hope that he will reunite with them sometime in the future. Issei, listen. Juniper spoke with a smile as he looked at her. Have hope. I promise you, we will help you locate your home, and you will meet your family one day. Have faith in me. I can assure you, you will be heading home one day. Juniper is right. If there is one thing you must know about my family, we will always keep our word. No matter what happens, just have faith in us. Looked at him and nodded as he wiped his tears and spoke. Yes, you are right. I will meet them one day. Juniper smiled as Liam spoke to her. Juniper, till then help him settle in Arcadia. He does not know anything about here, so you must guide him there. Yes, father, I will. Juniper looks at Issei and speaks. I will let you settle in this place while also informing you on what needs to be done, okay? Yes, Juniper. Issei knew that he was going to be stuck in this place for a very long time. However, he did have to make the most out of it. He had no choice but to do so. At the very least, he had time to think about what needs to be done. Scene change. In the DxD world. 3 days later, Hyoudou Residence, 9:30 a.m. The Hyoudou Residence, once a place of festivity and joy, was now a place that was completely deserted and devoid of any emotion. The joy that the world once felt was gone, since Issei Hyoudou had been consumed by the attack that Trihexa unleashed on them. It was revealed that Great Red had teleported him to a safe location far, far away from the planet, since it was the only thing he could do as quickly as possible. Otherwise Issei would have died. The ones hurt the most were the ones that supported Issei, like his family, his older sister, the faction leaders, and many more. Many still cared and loved Issei, especially the Gremry family being one of them. They were livid at what Rias had done to the boy and decided to take action. However, the Gremry girls did something stupid. They had the gall to enter into Issei's place and room for feeling regret from their actions. However, in reality, they were only doing this due to fear. They had no regret breaking up with him, not until Sosichus removed Issei's pawn pieces from his body and informed Rias that he is no longer her pawn. The girl did oppose as expected, only for the crimson-haired Lucifer to shut down any and all comments from her. He made it clear that she has no right to Issei since she broke up with him, and she had to relent out of fear. No sooner they entered, they were met by a very livid Mary who tore the girls a new one, almost killing Irina, ripping her wings, especially when they refused to leave from the house, and gave Riaz a very nasty scar. She even almost killed those that slept naked next to Issei, like Riaz, Aquino, Zenobia, Kaneko, and even Kuroka. She blamed them for causing their brother's death in a tear-filled rage. She would have done the deed had she not been physically restrained by the leaders, mostly the stronger ones like Sergiches and Shiva. They did not blame her for her anger, as they were also angry at the girls for having the guts to even enter Issei's house. The aftermath caused the girls to be in the hospital, where they are under critical condition due to the damage Mary inflicted on them. Phoenix tears had to be used, and they were put under house arrest as they all apologized for the trouble to the Hyoudou family. The loved ones of the girls made sure they stayed in their rooms, except for those like Kaneko, who was sent to live along with the Gremry peerage girls in the Gremry mansion, minus Irina, who was sent back to her parents in England. As for Kuroka, she was immediately kicked out from the volley team, with Volley personally doing the deed. Since he hated Kuroka calling her a dishonorable cat, he hated her even more, with Leifi hating her the most amongst the group. She was a literal stray cat, and she was not present even now. Nobody knew where she is. The only ones that lived in the Hyoudou residence were the current Hyoudou family, along with Kunu, Lilith, and Elmenhild, and some new guests which included Yudo Kiba, Vali Lucifer, and Gasper Vladi. Kunu asked Yusaku to stay in Issei's place to remember him, which she allowed without hesitation. Both her and Kunu were too affected by Issei's demise, and they will remember him always. All in all, it was a dark time for everyone involved. No one wanted to take Issei's place as the pillar since it was a seat meant for him, and nobody else had the right to do so. Mary thought of taking her brother's place to honor him, but shook her head. She refused to take the place of being the pillar of the factions since only Issei had the right to do so. Speaking of Mary, she became cold and distant for a while, since she blamed herself for what happened to her little brother. She often used to cry a lot, and even was about to start drinking when Azazel stopped her. Since it wouldn't help at all, the girl was devastated on the loss of her little brother. Worse, she had nightmares where she often found herself in Issei's tombstone, where a zombie version of her brother attacked her, asking why she did not save and protect him, along with a zombified version of Drake that tormented her. She had such nightmares and often woke up with tears in her eyes. She was too devastated due to the loss of her brother. Even her parents felt helpless, and made sure to help her in every step of the way. The factions, upon hearing this, immediately took her to see a psychiatrist who was looking after her till she becomes alright. Many could only hope that she was alright, as they made sure that she was fine. Scene change. In Arcadia. Arcadian dorms, 6:30 p.m. Issei was walking towards his dorms with Juniper guiding him to that location where they see a white-haired woman. She had long flowing white hair with blue eyes and wore the same soldier costume as Juniper did. Yo! Juniper, been a while. The woman walked towards Juniper and Issei. As Juniper introduced her to Issei, "Oh Issei, meet Willow Schnee, she is one of the members in my battalion. So you must be the new kid around here. Welcome to Arcadia, I guess." Willow greeted Issei with a handshake as Issei returned it to him. Normally Issei would be a bit perverted, but he did not have that, since even before the breakup with the girls, he decided to act upon himself and become better, even gaining praise from the Citri peerage. This was even more or less in post-breakup, which was to the point of nothingness. "Hi, my name is Issei Hyoudou. It is nice to meet you, Willow." Willow returned the smile. As she spoke, "Don't worry, you will get settled in with no time." Willow soon turns to Juniper and speaks, "We need to head to the army, for our daily routine. Help Issei settle down, alright?" "Yeah, an informant and Aisha that I will be heading there soon." Willow nodded as she left the location. Juniper then spoke, "Issei, we will settle you down. I would suggest you to head to one of the academies. I will help you choose on which academy you can go for." Juniper spoke, as Issei nodded, as he thought, "This is my life now, I guess." Issei spoke as Juniper motioned him to his new dorm room as she gave a key to him and spoke, This is your key card to your dorm since you don't have a scroll. Oh, and speaking of scrolls, you can give your mobile phone to me. I can ask for an upgrade and turn it into a scroll in an hour or two with all the data in it. Issei nodded as he spoke. Yes. Issei rummaged through his pocket and removed his phone. It was a miracle that the fall did not damage it. He gave it to Juniper and spoke. It is quite advanced if you asked me, but I can make it even better. Well, see you, Issei. We will meet again soon, Juniper spoke as she left Issei alone to his dorm as he pondered on what he needs to do. He entered his dorm knowing that his new life was going to start today. Issei's dorm, 9:30 a.m. Issei woke up from his dorm room. It was surprisingly advanced and highly good. He removed his sheets and took a look at the mirror. He sighed and spoke, well, that's another day. A dorm room, or more accurately, a sort of a full well-furnished apartment. The room which Issei was in, comprised of an air conditioner with a bathroom on the left side and proper technology present. There were decorations present as well. Issei headed to the bathroom, which comprised of a sink, a proper showering room, a toilet, and a sink. The showering room had a door to prevent water from escaping. He started brushing his teeth and soon followed by the rest of his routine as Issei walked out with a towel around him. He wore a different pair of clothing which comprised of another clothing set Juniper had given him alongside his new scroll. It comprised of a red and white t-shirt and black track pants. Well, here I am, as he spoke. Already as he soon heard a doorbell, he wondered who this could be. Walking into the living room, he was greeted by Juniper who was in her casual clothing. She wore a white dress with a red mini-skirt and heels. She greeted Issei in a hostile manner. Morning, Issei. Issei responded with a smile of his own. Morning. So what brings you here? Well, I did say I would help you get settled right. Juniper mused in response as she continued, well then, let's get going. You have a lot to explore, and we have a lot to show you in Arcadia. Issei nodded as he followed Juniper. He had to accept this place as his new home. He did not know how long would it take him, but he will accept this, he has to. They soon headed outside as Juniper spoke with a smile. Well then, let's go. Juniper and Issei walk across several locations as Issei comes across many species or races that exist in Arcadia, including Franus and Grimm, as Issei pondered on what races he would come across with. Oh, this reminds me, there is dragonkind as well. Since you are aware that me and my father are dragons, let me tell you of the dragons that exist in this world. And since you are a dragon, I can presume you have a dragon form, right? Juniper asked Issei, to which the latter responded, technically yes, but I normally don't use it. I can transform a part of my body into a dragon. That checks out, that means you can transform into a dragon, right? Juniper put an emphasis on the word can as Issei nodded, with Juniper continuing, then you and many dragons are not different after all. This kingdom, many dragons can shift from their human form into their more draconic form. Myself and my father included can do that. What about your mother then? Juniper shook her head and spoke. She is actually an elf from the kingdom of elves. She was the former queen of elves before she stepped down and became the empress of Arcadia. Her name is Alcyarch. So you are basically an half-elf? Juniper shrugged in response. Kind of actually. I may not look like an elf or have any of their traits, but I still have elven blood running inside of me. I see. Juniper smiled. He had a lot to learn when he is here. Perhaps she can settle him till he finds his way back home. Speaking of which, what kind of a fighter you are? Juniper asked with a smile, to which Issei responded, I am more of a brawler. I prefer close combat and getting the job done, but that doesn't mean that I don't have magic, given that I am a dragon myself. I have excellent flame and wind magic, and of course, my boosted gear, my very own sacred gear, which houses the Welsh dragon, Drake, my partner and someone whom I can trust without exception. I see. Well, Drake, what do you think of Issei? Drake's boosted gear activated as he had spoken. He is the best partner I could have asked for. He never saw me as a tool like the others, and I like talking to him. Drake did not mention about the op-eye dragon part since it would not only be awkward and weird about it, but the mere mention of that often brought Issei to the point of depression. Since it reminded him of his past relationships, or failed relationships. I see. Very well, It is nice to have someone like Issei, so we will be starting with the first academy. Follow me. Juniper spoke with a smile as they headed to the academy, the first academy, aptly called the academy. This is known as the academy. This is the best academy for the students who aim to vast themselves in technology. The technology they offer here is unbelievable. For those who love to create and invent weapons and gear, you are provided with your own personal lab, and the resources you are given are infinite. Yes, you can also use it for combat. They aim for their students to use their technology to do good out there. To enter the academy, there is an exam to present your creation, as they will be given to a judge's panel, so if they like it, you're in. Juniper explained, to which Issei used in response, "Something that catches your interest for this one?" Juniper asked, to which Issei shook his head and spoke, "Maybe, but I am going to need some time to decide." "Take your time, Issei." Juniper mused in response, as they soon started to walk towards another academy which almost looked like a dragon statue on top of the academy. The academy for the strange and gifted. It's for those people whose semblances are unique, new, and cannot be controlled. This is the #1 academy for semblances of any kind. They can turn your weakest semblance into a powerful one. Anyone can get in, but the training is very difficult. This is also for those whose magic is unstable and those whose summons are difficult to use. They can teach you how to perfect your magic despite the difficulties of that certain skill set. Juniper explained. As she continued, "Your sacred gear will be perfect for this academy." Juniper added, to which Issei responded, "I guess maybe I will reconsider it. Like I said, this is one of the many academies. There are many more." Juniper spoke as they started to head to the next academy. As she spoke, most academies are close to each other since they are under the same campus. This allows students to interact on a daily basis, often mingling and sharing ideas, eventually helping their further growth. "I see, I understand then." Juniper smiled as she started to explain the next academy, which was described to be a dual mansion-like academy, almost seeming like a main campus. This is the Arcane Academy. This is the #1 academy that will teach you extreme survival training. They will teach you how to survive any terrain and Remnant. The simulation rooms have a feature where they can display the biome of the teacher's choosing. They will also teach you how to survive with only a few sticks. After all, once you lose your weapon, you need to figure out how to survive. They'll teach you everything there is to know about surviving. Issei nodded as Juniper continued to move on to the next academy. There were still some more she wanted to show. The academy in question looked like a huge mansion building, almost akin to a futuristic, with several domes and towers that are connected to it. As Juniper explained, Magellani's Academy, one of the leading academies for those that wish to learn forms of combat. This academy is one of the more militaristic schools, where they teach you different forms of combat and strategy. But they have a special program there for pilots. And no, it's not like the Titans, but it's something else. All I'll say is they're called Gundams, EVA units, nightmare frames, Zoids, silhouette knights, and many more. "Wait, one of them?" Issei asked. As Juniper responded, "Yep. There are many more. Although they are at different locations in Arcadia, let's settle for the ones I have considered for now." "Yes." Issei spoke in response. As they proceeded to head to the next academy, it seemed to be a majestic castle that was supported by entrances leading to different locations of the academy. There were pathways connecting those said entrances that were in the air. Students were walking on these pathways. This is called the Magic Academy. This academy is also one of the hardest academies to go to, as their entrance exams last for a week. They want to find the best there is. Those that get picked are given a rank. By rank, it means the placement of your skills and power in that academy. You continue to grow and learn, your rank goes up, you slack off and your rank goes down, and if it goes down a lot you will be expelled. And this place is where you learn more advanced magic. Once you get up the ranks you learn harder and more powerful magic skills. And yes, and if you're wondering about the ranks, they are in order from lowest to highest. Copper, iron, silver, gold, platinum, mithril, orange, alchem, adamantite. Issei nodded in understanding. This was the first academy that caught his interest. As Juniper could see him interested in this academy, she had a feeling, or had a high chance, that he would choose this academy he would go for. "There are still some more if you are interested." Issei snapped out of it and nodded in response. They kept walking to the next campus, moving ahead as Juniper could see Issei enjoying this tour. However, she wondered if Issei were to head back, whether he will complete his studies or not. She soon looked up to see another academy, and this time it was a center crystal-based building with several crystal dorms that had powered the academy. This is the Academy of Karano, an academy for the gifted warriors. This academy allows you to be certified in different classes. By classes, I mean different forms of combat. There you can choose which style suits you, and usually in the semester, there is a certification test that allows you to move up the class of your choosing. You are given a medal that is just plain to signify you just started or picked a class, then when you take the test, you get upgraded to bronze, then silver, then gold, and finally platinum. Juniper explained to Issei, as he looked sort of interested in this. I see. Issei soon spoke as he continued, so what else is there? There were actually 2 more academies. I actually presumed that you would be interested in this one. Issei shrugged and responded. All academies so far have been tempting, it is hard to make the choice. Juniper responded with a smile, well, there is no rush, take your time and make the wise choice. Issei nodded as they kept walking towards the next academy, as Juniper explained this one. It seemed to be a conical dorm-like building. This is Strixhaven, an academy for the more highly intelligent students in Arcadia. This academy teaches you high-level combat as well as other practices outside of combat, and leadership skills like business, politics, sciences, medical, and other courses. This academy is extremely difficult to get in. You need a recommendation to enter. I see. Is there like an entrance exam or something? Essie asked, to which Juniper responded, indeed, but not only that, it also has an aptitude test. Basically, they want you to be fit for this academy, is saying used as they walked towards the final academy, which almost seemed to be a modern campus building, unlike the other mystical ones before. And this is the Academia, the last academy I wanted to personally show you, and the academy where I and my friends all studied in, the #1 academy in training highly elite warriors. You all know the training here is extremely difficult, but you can come back and try again. The academy welcomed all those that wished to prove themselves, Juniper explained to Issei. Issei was the most interested in this one, as Juniper knew that Issei would be going for this academy as well, to which the princess spoke. Either way, take your time to make your decision. You have 2 proper days to do so, as there is no rush. K. Juniper's words made Essie nod as they soon left the location. Juniper had to go back to the army while Essie headed to the dorm. Scene change. Essie's dorm, 12 p.m. Essie was seated in his dorm working on the academies that he would be heading to, as he asked his partner, Dreg. Hey Dreg, what do you think? Which academy would suit me the best? From what Juniper had spoke, partner, I would suggest to head to the Academy for the Strange and Gifted, since that would help you with your power, especially learning on how to control and master the Juggernaut drive, but it is your call, partner. This is your life, and I think you should prepare yourself here till they find a way back home, Greg explained to his aide as he nodded. He would be grateful to Juniper and her family for what they are doing for him. Not only did they save him from certain death, but also are helping him settle down. He would do anything to protect and cherish them at all costs. I will, but I think academia would also suit my abilities and strength. What do you think? Drake mused with a smile, as he grinned. So you wish to follow what the Empress did? Interesting, but you are right on that. Even academia would suit you just fine. Yeah. And I am thinking of heading to the Magic Academy after that. I have decided to hone my magical skills even more. Drake was surprised as he spoke. I doubt you would have the time to do that, and magic was not your best trait until quite recently. I can work with it. I was able to work on the seals courtesy of Trihexa, right? Drake nodded to Acey's words as he spoke. Yeah, you are right. Anyways, Drake, what do you think I should do? Drake mused in response. I told you before, it is your call. Your new life in this place should be present. Speaking of which, what are your thoughts on Juniper? Drake then asked, to which Issei responded, I can't say. When I first saw her, she was gentle and kind. She saved my life even when she did not know me. For that I will be eternally grateful to her. And so did that Gremry brat, she did save you from Reina, right? Drag mused in response. wondering what would responded, I don't think it would be wise to compare them. I have a feeling that Juniper saved me without hesitation. She did not see me as a dragon, but as a person. I can also see that based on her first impression, Juniper seemed to be different, unlike Ria's, who came off as a bit spoiled even in her early days. If only I knew how much spoiled she was. Regardless, I do owe her for saving my life, and she is helping me get home. I should repay her back. It is the least I can do, Issei responded, to which Drake seemed to be satisfied with the answer. He did not know Juniper well, and it would be best if he knew more about her. This was the best answer he could come up with. I see. Well, I think you should do just that. Drake cuts off his connection as he rests for a while. He sleeps on his bed pondering on what he should have done. He looks at his boosted gear and his new location of living. He pondered on how his life is going to be from here on out. But he had to make the most out of it. Well, Drake, it's time I should turn my life around, since I will be here for a very long time. Drake grinned in response that he spoke. You are right on, partner. That is the partner I know. Anyways, from her beauty standpoint, how would you rate the Juniper? You know I have stopped doing that, Drake. I stopped it long before the breakup, even told my friends about this, who unsurprisingly did not take that well. Drake remembered on how he informed Matsuda and Motohama, who like usual did not take it well, but he made it clear that he was done with his perverted attitude, which caused a literal uproar in the class. Unfortunately, knowing the Gremry girls who shared a single brain cell, they failed to see just that. Well, it was their loss, and Issei could care less about them. But come on, how would you rate her regardless? Even I am curious. Drake spoke with a sigh. No, Drake, I am not doing that, but if you want to know, I'd say she is a very beautiful, on the inside and on the outside. I see. I just wish your perversion went in a, well, different manner. Drake spoke with sadness. As Issei responded, the girls did teach me a very important lesson that day, and that was to not put your faith and blind loyalty into some women who never really cared for you. Seriously, my perversion failed to see what kind of women they really were. You are right on that. You should probably get some rest before you head to your chosen academy, Drake suggested Issei, as he decided to head outside in the hall room to watch some television, wondering what shows are there in Arcadia. The room is well furnished and had an air conditioner behind the couch at the top of the wall. It seemed like a proper home with state-of-the-art technology. Issei sat on the couch and brought out some of the snacks that was already present in the dorm room. He started the television and wondered if there is some good anime he could watch. Scene change. Time skip brought to you by Chibi Issei being introduced to the gaming squad. The next day, Academia Campus, Arcadia, 9:30 a.m. Issei was looking at the campus. He wore a red t-shirt, a black jacket that was open from the zipper, and a track pants. Issei started to like these track pants since it made him more comfortable in order to maneuver across the field and defeat his enemies. So I hope you are ready, Issei, Juniper spoke. She wore the same military clothing she usually does. Issei nodded as the duo head inside to settle for the academy. Issei was registered and he had to wait for his turn at the academy. You seem nervous? Is it your first time giving an entrance exam? Issei nodded as he spoke. No, I did give them before, especially for the academy that I was in, but the entrance exam here is something I am not familiar with. I never knew I had to fight against enemies to be accepted. I see. Juniper mused as she remembered the process he was informed in order to enter academia. She remembered that Issei will have to face enemies which will be getting stronger as he moves across the levels. I'd say you would be fine. Issei, just have faith, K? Juniper spoke as Issei nodded. After a few moments, Issei's number was announced, and he went inside for the examination. The exam was a simulation as there were several low-level robots that were aiming their weapons at Issei as the announcer spoke. Pandita Issei Hyoudou. Here are some rules that you must know before the examination begins. The robots here will test your skill, meaning you must proceed by defeating all of them. The announcer then continued, the difficulty of your enemies will increase across each level, with the highest being level 10. But in order to pass, you will need to just reach level 7, that is all. Yes. Understood. Issei responded as the announcer continued, you will lose if you pass out, but worry not. You can try as many times as you need. All right. Understood. The announcer then responded, "We will begin the examination, be ready." Issei got into his stance. He decided to save the boosted gear for a later stage as suddenly a notification popped up in the system. Legendary quest. Defeat all the enemies standing in your way and reach level 7 and enter in Academia. Levels completed. 7. Reward. A new boosted gear armor plus 45,000 experience plus 100,000 lean. Failure. You can always try again, so no consequences. Sub-quest. Complete the simulation and reach level 10. Levels completed. 0-10. Reward. New skill book plus 90,000 experience plus 200,000 lean. Failure? None. Issei accepted both the quests as the announcer exclaimed, "Ready?" Level 1 start. The droids started to attack him with their blaster fire, as Issei dodged the attacks with ease. He immediately dashed in front of them and punched the droid, sending it flying. Several other droids were attacking him, but Issei evaded everything with ease. Level 1 seemed to be easy, not many were like that, and Issei had to save as much energy and mana as he required to be ready for the next stages. He soon breathed some flames and burned them all down to the ground. Although much weakened than what he usually does, it was enough for him to deal with the droids of level 1. Some of the other droids tried to ambush him, but he all evaded the attacks by jumping in the air and dashed towards them. He dragonized his arms and ripped the droids to pieces, killing the last of them. Quest progress. 1/7 complete. Quest progress. 1/10 complete. Level 1 complete. Level 2 start. The announcer exclaimed in response as Issei nodded with a smile. Suddenly, more stronger droids came in and started the attack on Issei. They were much faster and durable than ordinary droids. Additionally, their weapons were long range, allowing them to damage Issei from a distance, so he had to evade more blaster fire and strike them. They were accompanied by droids from level 1 as Issei asked, "Drake, can you increase my strength in arms and legs?" Drake nodded and spoke, "Leave it to me." Boost. 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 Issei tripled the strength and stamina of his stats, allowing him to easily dodge the blaster fire and punched multiple droids in one swing. Another tried to ambush him, but it was for nothing as Issei took the blaster from the droid and started to shoot the droids in response. He gunned them all down like it was nothing. As he spoke, I seemed to be getting the hang of it. Issei dodged another blaster fire from the level 2 droids as he evaded some more and kept firing onto them, causing them to fall and eventually perish. The last of the droids has been eliminated, and with that, 2 levels are down. West progress. 2/7 complete. West progress. 2/10 complete. Level 2 complete. Level 3 start. Does user wish to take a break? Issei shook his head and responded, "No." Then get ready. The next level of droids had come along with the ones in level 2. These droids looked much stronger than before as the testing ground was becoming more defined as he noticed it looked like an army camp. The robots aimed their weapons onto Issei as it started to fire explosive shells onto his ace as he dodged it. He looked in surprise, the damage was real. He knew he had to take the weapon that these droids possessed since it would help him move on. He fired his blaster weapon, which did minimal damage as the droids were starting to evade the attacks. It reached close to Issei as it started to fire its shots at him. However, Issei was able to evade it. He soon fired it into its head as it soon dropped dead. He discarded the old weapon and took the one with the explosive shells. Those that were watching the training knew he was adapting and learning, which the droids were starting to realize it. Issei being able to lift his new weapon was due to it being easy to use. It was a close-range shotgun, meaning he had to get up and personal in order to do it. That was capable of someone like him. He fired 2 shells immediately destroying the surrounding level 2 droids, while the level 3 ones tried to fire the shells at him. However, Ace was gracefully evading all of the shots without much problems. He had experience fighting in a close-range fight, thanks to a certain Super Devil and many raiding games, allowing him to adapt and learn. He fired some more shells and destroyed them as well. He wondered if there was any other weapon he could use, however, he would be dealing with more tougher droids sooner or later. He had to save his boosted gear for much stronger ones as well. Not bad, seems like I am capable of so much more without my armor. Issei used the system increased his strength and stamina even more. He fired the last of the shells onto the level 3 droids as they were eventually destroyed as well. He soon kept his gun as he knew that there was more ammo. For a shotgun, I'd say there was much more ammo than I realized. He noticed the system sending him other notifications as well. West progress, 37 THS complete. West progress, 310 THS complete. Level 3 complete. Get ready for level 4. The announcer responded, as similar droids to level 3 appeared, except it were using machine guns, as they started to fire onto Issei, who took cover immediately. As he saw the droids approaching them, he waited for them to come close, and he started firing shells onto them, causing destruction. However, that was not the goal. He waited for a distraction, as when the level 4 droids recovered, he activated his boosted gear and kept boosting multiple times. Boost, 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 boost. Issei compressed the energy in his arms and waited for the right rhyme as he exclaimed, "Dragon shot." The dragon shot was strong enough to completely destroy the droids with relative ease as Issei took a deep breath to calm himself. He needed to catch his breath before he moves on to the next stage. West progress. 4/7 complete. West progress. 4/10 complete. Level 4 complete. Get ready for level 5. The announcer responded as a new giant robot had shown up. However, it did not possess any other weapons like it did before. The robots immediately charged at Issei, and this time he had to use his physical strength to overwhelm them, forcing him to drop the shotgun. Deciding to fire back, he boosted his strength multiple times, and eventually he was able to overpower them back. He pushed them back and fired the shotgun, which he quickly picked up and destroyed them. The other droids once again continued firing onto him. He noticed that there were several 1000 level 1 and level 2 droids as well. He immediately responded by firing his shotgun and destroying several of them. The robots that did not have weapons once again tried to overpower him, but Issei was ready. He narrowly dodged their attacks and fired a shotgun blast, destroying the robot into pieces. Some others tried to punch and even stagger him, but Issei was prepared. These robots were strong, but they were nothing compared to when he had faced against Siyard Bale. His strength was significantly higher. He soon responded by firing his shotgun onto them, which destroyed the robots as they fell to the ground. Issei had a smirk. This was one of the few times he was able to stretch his limbs and fight against his opponents. He looked at his weapon and it was unfortunately out of ammo. He discarded it and picked up a nearby machine gun. Learning from the droids that had attacked him earlier, he started to fire the machine gun onto the level 1 to level 4 droids that were remaining, wiping them out in one fell swoop. The minigun soon ran out of ammo as well, as Issei was forced to drop it as well. 2 more droids charged at him, intending to send him flying with one punch. However, Issei grabbed their hands and smirked. They struggled against the brute force of Issei. He crushed their arms much to their shock and punched them hard enough, sending each of them flying. The droids crashed onto the rest of the droids, taking several out with them. He picked up a nearby assault rifle and started to fire onto the rest of the droids that may have survived the destruction. He knew there was ample of ammo in the assault rifle as he had fired onto the last of the droids as well. He took a breather, knowing the stage 5 was pretty rough. Only 2 more remained to enter, and 5 more remained to become one of the best. West progress. 5/7 THS complete. West progress. 5/10 complete. Level 5 complete. Get ready for level 6. The environment suddenly changed into a dystopian city as a new batch of droids were sent with the saw blades. They were accompanied with level 3 to 5 droids, but in more number. However, no level 1 or 2 droids were present as Issei knew they would be close range. The droids charged at them, catching Issei off guard with their strength, sending him flying. As he immediately was ambushed by a laser beam sent by the droids, he immediately used his dragon wings to gain a footing and evade the attacks. He immediately responded with firing 2 dragon shots at them, but the weaker ones took the hit and were eliminated, the ones that wielded far-ranged weaponry. But the stronger ones were still intact, as Issei used, son of a bitch. Partner, our only choice is going balance breaker for this one, and the level 5 droids were not giving Issei time to recover, as they immediately started ambushing Issei with several punches, as Issei kept blocking with his fists, forcing him to drop his assault rifle. However, they were overwhelming it, as Issei raised his aura, pushing the droids behind. Screw this, balance break. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. Issei entered into his armor as he became even more faster with the system responding. The user's stats have increased significantly. It closed in on the droids who tried to use the claws to attack Issei, who blocked it with his attacks as he soon ripped their arms with his bare strength, much to their shock as he used their claws to shred through their armor, like almost akin to a dragon as he ripped them, causing a short circuit, causing them to fall to the ground. He soon noticed the level 5 droids attacking them as well. They all jumped onto Issei as he used the claws to rip them to pieces with multiple swipes. He used their own armor against them since he knew they were resistant to magic. The level 3 and level 4 kept firing onto Issei, who was starting to evade them, understanding their patterns. He gathered both his claws in one hand and started boosting multiple times. Boost. 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 Boost, 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 boost. Dragon shot. Issei fired a much stronger dragon shot, causing the droids to be evaporated into nothingness. He was ambushed by some more level 6 droids, whom he had blocked it with ease using the claws that he had snatched from the level 6 droids. He gutted them with their own armor, causing them to fall to the ground. He quickly acted and stabbed the droids in their heads, killing them instantly. Using this, the last of the droids were killed. He took a deep breath to recover himself. He had fought against stronger, and this was just a powerful warm-up. He also got another notification from the system. West progress. 6-7 THS complete. West progress. 6-10 THS complete. Level 6 complete. Get ready for level 7. The announcer announced as Issei got ready for his final passing challenge. The droids soon showed up. However, he noticed that the level 6 ones are more present, along with a new batch that had heavy weaponry as well with them. The droids started to fire their shells at Issei, with the latter not wanting to underestimate them, deciding to start with the more tougher ones first. He knew that these droids were something as he wondered on their current strength and their power level. The droid fired explosive shells which were much stronger as explosions were located throughout the arena. He quickly slammed the claws onto one of the droid's heads as it started to stagger and fall to the ground. It soon exploded as Issei backed away. He had to deal with 5 to 6 more of the droids. They kept firing at Issei as he elusively evaded their gunfire, with the level 5 and level 6 droids also joining in as well. He wondered if Ascalon would be useful, but chose to save it for a later time. The level 3 to level 4 droids were also present as they kept gunning onto Issei, much to his annoyance, as he immediately retorted, "No more playing around." Issei boosted several times over as he blitzed through the droids like it was nothing, cutting them to pieces with the claws multiple times. They were immediately killed as he noticed the stronger ones trying to ambush him along with the level 7 ones. He quickly avoided the level 5 and level 6 and went after the level 7 ones. He immediately clawed off the head of one of the droids as he followed it up with destroying the second one. He saw it firing onto him as he used an axe, cutting the droid's head off. It soon fell to the ground as well. He knew that some more remain as he blitzed through them, avoiding the gunfire, as well as he stabbed one of them directly in the head, causing a short circuit which he removed and jumped to avoid an explosion. Another of the droid had attacked him, but it sealed its fate when Issei ripped apart the guts of a droid, exposing its wiring. It soon fell to the ground as well. "Seems like this material is tough." Issei spoke with amazement. The claws from the level 6 were powerful enough to even harm a level 7 droids as well. He soon saw only level 5 and level 6 droids remaining as they attacked Issei with its claws, which caused him to block it with. He soon ripped their heads off in a quick manner as he did with the level 3 and level 4 droids as well, killing them all as well. He soon dropped the claws and decided to sit for a while to take a break, deactivating his armor. He soon got a notification. Quest progress, 7/7 THS complete. Quest progress, 7/10 complete. Legendary quest complete. Defeat all the enemies standing in your way and reach level 7 and enter in Academia. Reward: a new boosted gear armor plus 45,000 experience plus 100,000 lean. Level up. New armor unlocked. Crimson King armor, the stronger variant of the boosted gear armor, and even stronger than Cardinal Crimson promotion. It has all of the abilities of the original along with the fabled move, Long Hyena's Smasher. Now that's what I am talking about. Issei exclaimed as an announcement called out. Level 7 complete. The candidate has completed all 7 trials and is now an official student of Academia. Does the user wish to continue after a mandatory break? Issei responded with a smile. Yes, I would like to. Issei responded, to which the announcer responded, you can rest for 30 minutes, then we can begin the final levels. Issei took a breather, wondering if Unipro was watching him. She must be happy that Issei was clearing the levels even better than ever. He wondered if he could access the shop inside of the system, but he decided to rest for a while, gathering strength and stamina. Time passed, and Issei got up. The announcer then spoke. Level 8 has begun, best of luck to you. The scenery changed, and instead it was a sort of field with floating islands. He immediately entered into his balance breaker state, knowing full well that they will be annoying. He saw his new enemies. The first was a flying drake that was breathing fire onto the group. He knew that this was the first non-droid monster that he would be dealing with. Along with that, he saw the usual droids from level 3 to 7, with level 6 and 7 becoming more common. The drake started to breathe fire as Issei shouted, Ascalon. Blade. Issei brought out Ascalon to fight off against the dragon, which started to breathe fire onto Issei as he took the flames without a problem as the latter responded. Didn't you forget that a dragon is immune to fire? The drake got more annoyed as several more joined. Issei decided to dash towards the drake as he dodged the blaster fire courtesy of the droids, and with one quick motion, he was able to stab the drake in its head, killing it instantly. The drake started to fire at Issei as he brought out 2 cannons and started to fire onto the drakes, annihilating them out of existence. He had this with him ever since he had lost access to Triana and Crimson promotion. He still had their power, he just had to alter and assimilate it in his gear. He soon aimed the blaster towards the droids as they started to fire onto his Issei. He kept firing, trying to overpower them in order to take them down as he kept firing and pushing through them, destroying them with ease. He was able to take them down with one fell swoop. He couldn't use Diablo's dragon, but he is far from beaten. He soon reached the ground and saw that the droids were annihilated, as he knew the cannons were powerful since they even gave Serge a run for his money. Quest progress. 8/10 complete. He soon heard another announcement. Level 8 complete. Get ready for level 9. Along with the previous enemies, there was one new enemy that had joined them as well, and this was a sort of 9-tailed wolf that had dark magic in its palms. These were 5 in number. The wolf was exceedingly fast, as he was able to cross the distance between itself and Issei within just a blur, and used its blade to slice off Issei's head, who only responded by blocking it with Ascalon. He used his free hand to fire a dragon shot, sending it behind. The wolf commanded the armies to attack his Issei, only for him to boost several more times. Boost, 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 boost. Boost, 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 boost. His armor was starting to grow unstable as he started to fire the blast onto the droids and drakes as they tried to defend themselves from the attack. But it was too strong. The armor was also starting to release all of its pent-up power in just one go. The entire army of droids and drakes were annihilated in just one fell swoop. Issei staggered. This was the first time his armor was able to push this far. He was pushing it to his absolute limits, knowing full well that his balance breaker will not be able to keep up with the strain for much longer. However, he still had to prepare for what happens in the final level, which was supposed to be harder than this. Greg himself was worried about his Issei. He had to applaud his resolution. The mere fact that he was able to keep up with the likes of even the stronger beasts was really strong, using innovate and creative tricks to take down his enemies, allowing them to be overwhelmed by the same powers they had once used against him. But he feared that Issei won't be able to keep up for much longer. He had already passed, but he wanted to go even further beyond. The wolves charged at Issei. As they held ready to strike him, Issei was losing his balance, but he had to wait for a short amount till his gear stabilizes itself. It was called reset, and he will have to wait for a few minutes before he recovers. He was able to decently against the wolves that were able to graze or damage him. He spoke with a low tone. Just a little longer, Issei muttered as he waited for his gear to recover. He was able to disarm one of the wolves and stab it in the stomach, causing it to fall to the ground limp from the attack. The other two wolves, in response, unleashed a dark energy blast towards Issei, who managed to dodge the attacks. He waited for a close attack as he stabbed another in the head, killing it as well. The wolf looked at Issei's cold look and couldn't help but shudder. He knew what he was doing as well. The final wolf charged at Issei, who just waited for the wolf to come closer as he sliced off the head of the wolf. The wolf's head fell from the body as Issei staggered for a moment. He put Ascalon on the ground and was breathing heavily. This level took a lot out of him, and there was still one level remaining. He had to be careful, otherwise he was done for. The system responded. West progress. 9/10 complete. The announcer soon responded, level 9 complete. Now candidate, get ready for the final level. The scenery changed to a castle, almost like a king's castle. He saw his final opponent accompanied with hordes of other enemies from levels 3 all the way to level 9. It was a giant demonic being, however it was only one, meaning it was the boss monster that Issei had to deal with in order to win. The demonic being had a whip which he had flung, destroying the ground completely as Issei spoke. You've got to be kidding me. Partner, you need to use that new armor of yours, Issei nodded. Seeing that he has no choice, he activated his Crimson King armor, which looked like Cardinal Crimson, except it was much darker and redder, unlike the old variation, which was lighter. In mere moments, Issei dashed towards the Demon King, who had used his whip to try and attack Issei. He barely evaded the blow and fired a dragon shot, which pushed the beast behind. Issei was ambushed by the droids that kept on firing at him, coupled with the drakes and wolves who were keeping their distance from him. He knew what he had to do. Crimson Blaster. Issei shouted as two more cannons had joined Issei as they all started to boost multiple times. Boost. 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 Boost, 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 boost. Boost, 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 boost. Take this, Issei shouted as the whole army either tried to evade or escape the complete annihilation, while the Demon King tried to deter Issei, but to no avail. Since Issei activated a barrier protecting himself from the attack, the army was starting to get eliminated as many tried to attack him from different angles. Issei was quick. He started to fly to avoid the attacks as he used Ascalon to stab a nearby wolf as some drakes tried to fire flames at him, with Issei narrowly avoiding them, and he quickly slashed off the heads of the wyverns as they fell tumbling down to the ground. He soon turned his attention towards the remnants of the droids that had tried to attack him with heavy machine fire as he grunted. Annoying. Issei slashed the droids multiple times, causing them to fall to the ground. He soon turned towards the level 5 ones as they tried to charge at him. The Demon King fired another flame blast towards Issei, who smirked. He jumped in the air, causing the droids to be struck instead. The Demon King looked in horror. Seeing this opportunity, Issei dashed towards the Demon King and stabbed him in the heart with Ascalon, making him screech in pain. He looked at the king as it started to charge another blast. He quickly removed the blade and dodged the attack. Partner, only 5 minutes remain for this armor before it falls off. Issei grunted in response as he looked at the beast. He also looked at the remnants of the army as he quickly fired a dragon shot in response, killing them with ease. He looked at the Demon King. Only he remained as he used his whip to try and subdue Issei, only for him to dodge the attack. He looked at the Demon King and fired some more blasts with his cannons, albeit weaker. They performed their goal of forcing the Demon King to block as Issei quickly followed it up with a stab in the heart, and this time, he kept piercing it even more, causing it to screech in pain. Ascends now. Crimson Blaster. Issei generated his cannons as once again multiple boosts were heard. Boost. Boost, boost, boost. Issei fired onto the Demon King at point-blank range as a bright explosion of red and green was noticed, causing a dust storm. Issei flew from it holding Ascalon in his left hand in his dragon armor as the Demon King was on his last edges. It was almost on the verge of bowing. Well, it was quite the match, but it's over. Issei quickly dashed and decapitated the Demon King, which ended the final level as well. Quest progress. 10/10 complete. Sub-quest completed. Complete the simulation and reach level 10. Reward. New skill book plus 90,000 experience plus 200,000 lean. Level up, level up. Skill book gained. Book of Water and Ice Attacks. Description. This book can teach the user the attacks needed to learn the water and ice-based attacks needed. Even God-class spells are there in this book, use it wisely. The armor soon fell off, as Issei sighed in exhaustion as he decided to rest with the announcement speaking. All 10 levels cleared. The candidate is a very talented student of the academy. Please come and take your new identification cards into this academy. Issei gave a smile as he soon lied on the simulation grounds, exhausted as the simulation returned to normal. Scene change. Juniper watched the fights completely with a smile, alongside Willow and another lady. She was a woman that had plum hair and had a fair complexion and light purple eyes. She wore a military outfit like Willow and Juniper, except hers is half-sleeved. This was Rin. So seems like we got another prodigy. Juniper spoke with happiness in her tone as Willow gave a smirk and spoke, "This boy is truly amazing. His red dragon armor and his ruthlessness reminds me of how you used to gain a one-up against me." Juniper glared at Willow for saying this, however she reeled it in as she spoke, "I will go and meet up with Issei." "Alright, meet up with your boyfriend." Juniper rolled her eyes at Willow's sarcastic comment, as in spoke, "So what do you plan on telling him?" "I will probably see what I can do. I promised him I would get him home, and I shall do just that." Juniper spoke with a smile as she walked outside, leaving the two girls wondering what would come next. Back at the lobby, Issei looked at his admission card with happiness as Juniper soon called out to him, "Issei." "Oh hey." Juniper walked towards him and spoke, "Seems like you have done it." "Yep, and I am in." Juniper then spoke with a smile, "You should celebrate. Let's head out with the others and we all can have some food." "Sure, why not?" Issei spoke as Juniper then took him to an inn Willow, with Juniper introducing him to Issei. They soon headed to a nearby restaurant to have some food and enjoy some drinks. Thanks for listening to my video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment below your favorite part. Don't forget to support the author and his story in the description. Sayonara, see you in the next video.